So Jidion recently got arrested, and I know I say this a lot, but I've never received more requests to cover something than this topic right here. And after diving into it a little bit, yeah, I can definitely see why. I'm also under no illusions. I know it's largely because we've been on each other's streams a couple times, so there's like a pre-established relationship there. Somewhat, we'll get into that, don't worry. But before that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Actually, no. You know what? I've been begging for subs at the start of these videos for a while now, but for some reason, we've not hit 10 billion yet. So I'm gonna take a different approach and say, please don't subscribe. In fact, if you are subscribed, unsubscribe from me right now. And if you were never subbed to begin with, then subscribe momentarily, only to crush my dreams by unsubscribing immediately after. I want you to edge that subscribe button. But whatever you do, never give it to me. I want 0 subs after this video, negative subs even. If this doesn't work, I swear to God, I'm quitting. We're gonna have a look at the video that's been going viral recently from this channel here called Code Blue Cam. The video is titled Famous YouTuber Gets Himself and All His Crew Arrested. Now, usually it's like actual police body cam footage, but I think for this video in particular, they just used the live stream that Jidion was making at the time. Now, I've always been pretty morally conflicted about pred catches being on YouTube in general, but when it comes to pred catch live streams, I feel as though my moral convictions are a lot more convicted, for lack of a better term. Like, I'm a lot more against the concept of live streaming pred catches as opposed to, you know, recording them and editing them and actually being able to pick what goes in, what goes out, and not having to perform the entire time because you're not constantly performing, you know things can be cut. Whereas if you're live streaming, I feel there's a pressure there to constantly be entertaining, which I don't think it's the right environment to try and perform like a dancing monkey, if that makes sense. In fact, it's not that I don't think it's the right environment, it's not the right environment. It does not facilitate live streaming, in my opinion. You don't live stream something like that. Because obviously, things can go wrong as well if there's like a particularly unhinged predator. If, God forbid, maybe you get the wrong person, like Vitaly did that one time as well. Live streaming just isn't the way to go about it. Now, I also understand that the predator here isn't an actual predator in the usual way that Jidion usually catches them. It's like a character on Jidi's channel called Joe, who I think is his uncle. However, Jidion also has done pred catch live streams in the past as well, so I think this does apply. In terms of like my personal relationship with the guy, I think people are getting misconstrued a little bit, because I've been getting a lot of comments being like, you need to talk about your friend Jidion getting arrested. I want to be like perfectly clear. I've got nothing against him at all, really. You know, we've exchanged pleasantries, all of our interactions have been very friendly. He's been perfectly nice to me. He seems like a nice guy. However, we have only ever interacted on camera. Like, what you've seen us talk about is all we've ever really spoken about. I think we've been on call 2 times, and both of those times are available on Shepherd Boy. So yeah, like, we're not really, you know, pals like that. Not because I have like any strong moral aversions to being friends with the guys, just sort of, it just didn't turn out that way, I guess. It just is what it is. Like, it's not a big thing, I guess. You know, am I making sense here? People on the internet do have this habit of like, they see 2 creators interact once in like a friendly manner, and all of a sudden they're best friends. That's not really how friendships work. Although I will say, we have butted heads before in like, you know, a very civil manner, I guess. I was actually critiquing Jidion once on the Shepherd Boy channel, where I put all my live stream VODs up. He had seen that, so he had joined one of my live streams on a later date to sort of talk to me about it, because obviously Jidi's like a good friend of his. Jidion is another very popular pred catching channel, for those who don't know, by the way. We'll get into that later, maybe. I'll make my problems with Skeeter very clear as well, because like, I'll be real, I think Jidion, despite my issues with him in the past, handles this situation far better than Jidion does, but especially after this, I think they both have things that they can be criticized for. Jidion has released a response to it all, however. I don't think Skeeter ever has, but I don't know how good Jidion's response will be. Definitely heard some things, but I want to watch it myself, of course. You know what? Let me just stop gish galloping and actually show you the video, and my opinion will come through as it plays, I guess.
How fast do you think this is gonna get dropped? Do you really think the charge is gonna get? I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you, I can take this as far as you want.
When a famous YouTuber and his crew are arrested, it seems like the end of a harrowing day. But the events that unfolded leave some officer—
Okay, off topic. I know immediately we're going off topic, but I hate the camera shutter effects with like the screen shaking that. And the only reason I hate it is because before I was a YouTuber, I was like an editor and I did freelance and I edited loads of videos like this. There are a surprising number of like multi-million view videos on YouTube that I was behind on like really shitty days that I was having. And I was just like doing the editating my life, and I can't fucking believe that this is like, I hate this. I just hate this. But hey, I mean, doing pretty all right now, so it worked out in the end. It was a lot of it was mainly on Snapchat. That's why I hated it. That's why I hate Snapchat so much, by the way, because I was making Snapchat videos for so long.
For the past decade or so, he's been financially exploiting and abusing my grandmother, who was also his mother. And before that, he was doing the same thing to his grandmother, which is my great-grandmother.
Skeeter explains that despite repeated warnings from the family, his Uncle Joe refused to leave his grandmother's house and had been squatting there for months. So, he decided,
I was gonna go over there and kick his ass myself. But then I thought, wait a minute, I have a YouTube channel, and it's monetized. So I can just expose him on the internet and make some money off of him.
But according to Skeeter, when Joe still refused to vacate the home, he came up with a plan alongside Jidion to solve the problem once and for all. He moved Jidion into his grandmother's house, eventually forcing Joe to leave the property and end up at McDonald's. But according to Joe, the harassment did not stop there. He claimed Skeeter, Jidion, and their film crew continued following and filming him at the restaurant, ultimately provoking him to call the authorities. Joe goes on to describe how Skeeter and Jidion had been setting up speakers inside the house for a large party in an effort to upset him. Eventually, officers convinced Joe to stay somewhere else so Skeeter and his crew can no longer film him. But now, as officers accompany Joe back to the house to help him collect his belongings, they have no idea that the situation is only going to escalate from here.
Okay, so off the bat, this context here is unhinged. So Jidion is saying that his alternative for kicking Joe's ass, which is what he initially wanted to do but didn't end up doing, was just trolling the shit out of him with Jidion, who used to be like a, a renowned YouTube troll. So sort of going back to his roots against someone who, in their mind, deserves said trolling. Now, I don't know how true the financial abuse and all that is regarding Joe and his family and that. I'll take Jidion's word for it, sure. Issue is when you yourself start committing crimes to get at someone over like a personal vendetta, you almost give them an out, because now, like is being said in this video, Joe can call the police on you for stalking. I'm not sure if this meets the legal definition for stalking, but when the police come over, Jidion gets quite rowdy, and I think Jidion leaves like a normal adult. So when going after someone that they both deem to be a horrible person, one of them ended up getting arrested, whilst Joe, I think, is, nothing really happened to him. He just got annoyed a little bit. So I don't know, it wasn't exactly the highest level maneuver, in my opinion. I don't know if they're still going to be going after Joe, or if this is still going to be like a reoccurring character on Jideon's channel. I've had issues with Jideon's sort of pred catching methods in the past, and against actual predators, not just his uncle. I'll show you guys what I mean now, in fact. Yeah, it was this video here.
Quick in there, just so we know like where he's at. But yeah, it's not 25 people, but there's a good amount of people there. Like 10,
But
I would
they
say.
said they have to party of that. They're gonna be.
The amount of people that they're describing here is the Predator's auntie's 90th birthday party. Apparently there was going to be 25 people. There's only like 10 there, which is a big disappointment, I guess, because he's not going to be embarrassed in front of as many people. Now, when I was talking to Jidion about this incident, I was told that this is sort of the only way they could do it because the guy was leaving the state or leaving the area the next day. And this is the only place where they like knew he would be at a certain point, so it had to be here. And that's like one thing, because my thing was like, exposing this guy at his aunt's 90th birthday party when the aunt is completely uninvolved in any of this shit and is potentially celebrating her final birthday. It's really, really shitty because it's only one of their family members that has committed this horrific act, right? And now everyone else is being forced to sort of pay the price for it. And I understand that, a typical pred catcher's excuse might be, oh, look what you've done to your family. This is your fault. Look at what your actions have done to your family. You've made them feel horrible. But it is also, in my mind, partially on the pred catcher for exposing them in the manner of which they did. However, if that's the only way they could do it here, that's a different thing, I guess. It's different. It is different for sure. However, Jidion, I'll play the video because there's one thing he does that makes it very obvious that he wasn't doing this in the most moral way possible, but he was very much intentionally doing it in a way that makes it obvious that he is looking at the family as view fodder, not as real people.
Here all day.
Yeah, they're gonna be, yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
there might be people coming and going.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Oh, excuse us. Just here for a party. Oh, these balloons are heavy. Thank you so much. Yep, the big 9-0. Here we go. Hey, how we doing? I heard there was a big 90th birthday party going on here.
Yes.
Okay, the big 9-0. Right on here. So we have these balloons here for you. Looks like courtesy of who we have on the reservation was a Stanford. Actually ordered some balloons. I don't know where you guys.
So he comes in with some 90 balloons and stuff, which already is very condescending and insulting. Like, it just wasn't necessary at all. You focus the jokes on the actual predator. There's no need to involve the family at all, really. Like, you come in, you ask him for a chat, you take him outside, away from the family maybe, and that's that. But in the bag that he's holding as well are adult diapers. So he was bringing adult diapers to this woman's 90th birthday party because sometimes old people need adult diapers, I guess, and that's like a funny joke to him. In my mind, that's just not something you do if you genuinely care about the well-being of the person's family. That's not to say that he wants bad things to happen to them, but that's me saying that he's not really viewing this as some sort of altruistic way of getting a predator off the streets to protect people. He's definitely partially, at the very least, looking at this situation as, how can I monetize this and turn it into content? Which I understand that's their job, but focus on the predator. Like, turn the predator into content, not the predator's families, who are completely uninvolved and potentially celebrating their final birthday. I really don't feel as though it's a horrifically controversial or unfair opinion from me there. Now, this is not an indication of Skeeter Gene's sort of arrest record or how often he gets convictions or even any of his other videos, but it was just this one video that I've seen. I've not seen many of his, but it was just this one that I did see that gave me a sort of weird vibe of the guy. When I say weird, I don't mean like he himself was a predator. Weird as in like a little bit morally ambiguous in terms of why or how he does some of his catches. But again, I've only really seen this one and like a few other ones, and I've not had huge problems with other ones. It's just this one sort of stuck out to me. I think it's worthy of criticism at the very least, for sure. But we'll get back to the topic at hand.
Get the out of here.
Hello, officers. Oh, what's good, my man? Yeah.
Take it out.
Wait down here.
Okay. So, chat, we got a giant speaker here. We got a giant speaker here. Bro, the police are giving him a ride. I'm actually dead. Boo!
But one of the officers soon notices an orange sedan following them as they transport Joe to the Woodhaven Police Department, where a friend is supposed to pick him up. Shortly afterward, Skeeter and Jidion arrive at the station with a large group of people, demanding to speak with Joe. By then, Joe has already left for McDonald's again, and when the detective tells them that Joe is not at the station, Jidion mentions filing a missing persons report, arguing that officers had taken Joe away from the house.
Yeah, Joe went missing. You guys stole him. Where did they take him, JV?
See, this is what I mean about the live stream being a horrible idea. Jidion has always criticized people or criticized the police for sort of wasting resources, wasting time in terms of actually catching dangerous people. However, this is him in a police station wasting their time and, you know, joking about wasting their resources as well. Like, this is a waste of time. You're sort of talking to the missing person report, telling like shite jokes because you're trying to perform to a stream right here. Definitely not a good look at all. Now, I don't know Jidion personally, so I can't really speak to the content of his character generally. However, what I can undoubtedly say is that this situation here and this moment and everything we're about to see is definitely a huge character flaw that he has, and one that hopefully he is working towards fixing, which again, we'll look at his response video. I believe he talks about how he's no longer going to stream on any platform, whether that be predator catches or just sort of reaction streams, which I think is a good move, especially if, you know, this is how you tend to act on stream. It brings out the worst in you, which it does bring out the worst in people. I've been there.
I might have JV like go make like missing people. You know, Joe?
Yeah, I know.
We're trying to find him. He's hiding from us.
Yeah, he's not in here, I promise.
You promise?
Yes.
You pinky promise?
Yes.
You
I take pictures of him all the time.
Pinky promise.
Yes, Joe's not in here.
I don't trust her. Is it cool if I check real quick just to make sure?
Yeah.
I can? I'm gonna just check real quick, okay?
It's around 3 p.m. now, over 4 hours since this situation first began, and as an officer arrives at the restaurant to speak with Joe again, he has no idea that Skeeter and Jidion are about to bring the storm right back to McDonald's.
Because like I said, those people.
He's with a bunch of children. Those are children. He's come with like an entourage of actual children. Like, what is going on here? Is there any relation? Are these like family friends of his, or are these just random kids that he's found on the side of the street? I don't know why I'm asking that. I know the answer. They're random kids, they're fans that he just found. And he sort of deploys these children as though they're Pokemon later on in this video as well, to sort of search the McDonald's multiple times. Fucking weird, it's really weird.
Okay, and they always come in, they start using the video, and they say, and then they don't want to leave. And then they did come back later.
Yeah.
The bald-headed guy, the one that starts the first round of video.
Yep.
So he came in, and I said, "You can leave." He goes, "No, we don't have our cameras." I said, "That's fine." I said, "But you still need to go." And he goes, "Do you treat all customers like that?" I said, "Only the ones that have videos and phone systems." So he sat outside. So then Joe was in and out. So he said, "We are outside waiting for him." So I said, "You need to stay in." I said, and then there won't be any confrontation. So they finally did leave, but they were in and out.
Yeah.
That other group, that Batman, whatever he was.
Yeah. They're at his house and
I know.
they're not doing anything illegal. It's just super annoying. They're trying to get him riled up so they get their YouTube views. We're just trying to trying to find somewhere for Joe to go because they have access to the house. They're allowed to be there, and so is Joe, so we can't make somebody leave.
They have those shelters.
None really close to here. But he said that his buddy is trying to find somewhere and trying to keep Joe out of the spotlight. So
Yep. He'll be out at their house.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the help. I greatly appreciate it.
While Joe has stepped out to run an errand, the officer later learned from the restaurant manager that Jidion and his film crew had returned to the McDonald's multiple times looking for him. The manager told officers that despite being asked to leave and informed them that they could not record on McDonald's private property, they continued live streaming.
This is always something that I've had a problem with in terms of pred catches as well. Again, in one of the other Skeeter Gene videos I've watched, he sort of pressures a very, very, very young looking Taco Bell employee to sort of go behind the counter and look for an employee that works there, because I think the employee of Taco Bell was the one that he was trying to catch. And this young kid is like, no, that's against the rules. I can't let you do that. Clearly, he's a young guy who's like scared of losing his job. The amount of pressure that's being put, I just don't think it was fair necessarily, because again, these are uninvolved parties who have no idea what's going on. And just because you have the knowledge or you believe that your cause is just in terms of breaking the rules and filming on this private property when you're not being given permission to do so, it does undeniably make you look like a bit of a twat. Like, even though you are doing it allegedly for this altruistic purpose of catching a predator, which Joe isn't even like a predator, it's not like the employees know that. You've just sort of come in and told them some shit, and you know, it's like this is a real shock to them. It's not something they experience every day or get taught with how to deal with. There was one really infamous pred catch. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it is insane and that's not what the video's about. But this is what I mean in terms of people catching predators not understanding that the employees don't know what's going on. And just to be clear, this is not usually how Jidion or Skeeter Gene go about it. This guy in particular is just a massive arsehole. But this is kind of the issue I have with certain pred catches. So this guy's come in and this bloke here is wanting to smoke crystal meth with a 13-year-old. He's like an actual, you know, undoubtable predator, right? And this is how the catcher goes about it.
Doing this to me!
Is this you? Is this a picture of you? Why do I have a picture of you?
What's this? What is it?
Why do I have a picture of you?
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
Why do I have a picture? Why do I have a picture of your ass?
Ew.
This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for and to give him crystal meth.
Oh my god.
And then he comes out with, in my opinion, I use this line regularly. It is an unbelievably poignant and amazing quote that this bloke comes out with.
To meet a 13-year-old boy and to give him crystal meth.
Please,
okay,
sir.
what's happening?
I'm trying to find you. Do you know where the fiber pills are?
Call the cops. This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for Don't touch me.
Sir,
don't touch me.
Why? Stop.
Don't touch me and don't put your hands in front of my camera, bro.
Stop.
Who the f are you?
Stop.
So yeah, this guy is just, this employee has no idea what's going on. This poor lad. He's just watching this bloke make a big ruckus about 14-year-old boys and sex and shit. Obviously, his instinct is going to be, let's just decompress, let's just chill out. Explain what's happening. Like, don't just call him a fucking idiot. He doesn't know. You have to explain rationally what is going on. And if he still asks you to leave, then leave. But it gets to a point where you have to turn the content brain off and go, all right, this isn't going to work. Let me fucking call the police. Like, why are you telling him to call the cops? You have the you call the fucking cops, you dick. That's not the quote though. Where does the quote come in? This is it here, I think.
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Why are you here to harass me?
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Are you trying to prevent me? No, I'm gonna stop.
2235. Focus.
I'm a weirdo?
Yeah.
Why do I have a picture of his asshole if I'm a weirdo? Why do I have a picture of his face?
See, that, look at it! Oh my god! Okay, see, that is the quote right there. I use that regularly. I'm a weirdo. Why do I have a picture of his asshole if I'm the weirdo? Look at it! I don't remember him saying look at it to this random fucking woman. He's got nothing to do with the situation. Why do I have a that is like, how is that gonna prove you're not a weirdo? Oh, you think I'm a weirdo? Well, have a look at this random bloke's fucking arsehole. So, oh, well, thank fuck for that. Now I know you're a completely normal individual. A nice, kind, respected member of society. Because only the most reputable figures would do something like that. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Police station once again, demanding to see Joe. Believing they may head back to the McDonald's in search of him, the officer returns to the restaurant to keep watch.
All right, we're gonna go back and deal with them. Hopefully we can see what we can do about getting them out of there, but we'll see.
And soon, a large group arrives back at McDonald's. But this time, the officers are ready.
What's the problem?
McDonald's doesn't want you guys on the property, so you guys gotta leave.
Is he here?
Doesn't matter where he's at. McDonald's does not want you on the property. You guys have to leave. You're gonna.
Who's you guys? Can you be more specific?
You.
So they said
them,
these people?
Him, yes. You guys cannot be on the property.
Hey,
or they're gonna arrest you.
Do you guys want some McDonald's? Y'all wanna go inside real quick?
You're gonna be arrested for trespassing if you go in there.
Bro, what?
So he tries to find like some loophole as though it's like a fairy tale. It's like, oh, well, we can't go inside, but he didn't say that those random kids who are probably fans of mine can't go inside. So I don't know, the police came over, they're enforcing the law, you're not allowed to go inside the McDonald's. It should be as easy as, sure. Like, you're not, Joe isn't even your beast. He's not even your business. He's Skeeter Jeans. This is just pure content brain here.
Like, no offense, officer, but like, do you genuinely have nothing better to do? Like,
do you have anything better to do?
I mean, it's a great point. I think, do you have anything better to do when you are literally going back and forth from McDonald's to outside McDonald's and getting like your entourage of teenagers to like search for Joe inside of fucking Mackey's? And then you start insulting a police officer for not having anything better to do? You were just in the station a couple of hours ago telling like shit jokes about Joe going missing. I just don't think you're in a particularly viable position to insult people for how they use their time. Like, the guy got a call from Mackey's saying that people are trespassing, so he's a police officer, he's come over and he's doing his job.
Officer, you're actually like supposed to protect and serve.
All right, get off the property. You guys are gonna be arrested for trespassing.
Okay, we'll leave the property, but like, I'm just trying to figure out, do you have anything better to do? Because this is like a...
Yeah, they told you earlier that they don't want you guys on the property, so you guys gotta leave.
Because you've been camping out there for like 20 minutes, wasting taxpayer dollars.
I'm there for about 5. You guys need to leave.
Jidion, it's crazy how you don't arrest a squatter. That's crazy.
Well, squatting isn't illegal, though. Like, there's nothing they can do to the squatter. He has access to the property, just like you have access to that property.
But the warning has little effect. Soon Jidion is seen standing on the sidewalk yelling, creating a disturbance, and stopping vehicles attempting to enter McDonald's to patronize the business. At the same time...
See, this is the thing. This is now Jidion wasting taxpayer dollars. Like, he's doing things that he knows is going to provoke and get the police involved when there is just no need to do so. They don't even know if Joe is even in the McDonald's at this point, I think. So if it turns out he's not in there, then they're really just wasting their goddamn time. A huge blunder on their part, both like morally, job-wise, like PR-wise. It's just bad in every way of the word.
Officers noticed 2 members of the film crew attempting to enter the restaurant with their cameras, prompting them to make their move.
Let's see if there's some McJoes in there.
We gotta arrest Joe.
Chat, man, is this what you want your tax dollars to go to? Cops camping out at a McDonald's to protect a squatter. He's in there? Really? Should we give them the camera? Yo, do me a favor. Be very careful. Just wear this as a backpack. You didn't trespass them, so shut the f up! Bro, you haven't been trespassed.
We're good. What am I?
Just walk inside.
Just to get on my video?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But make sure y'all stick together.
Isn't that backpack like 30 grand?
Yeah. They have not. Yeah, hold up. Wait. Actually, come back. Bro, they're really protecting Joe.
He's about to send those kids in there and put them in danger, potentially. I think Joe threw a rock at a car, so it's not as though he's above, like, forms of violence. I'm not saying that he would have, like, attacked these children or anything, but I'm saying the uncertainty, like, the fact that you're not 100% sure of what this guy could do. Just, you know what it is? It's as simple as, why the fuck are you getting these 14-year-olds involved in your personal vendetta against this guy? Like, the cops are they're right there, dude.
Officer, what are you doing? Officer, never trespass them. You can't trespass somebody.
1212 dispatch. We're gonna have one detained at this point.
Officer, you cannot trespass somebody.
Copy, one detained.
Is he going too, Mitchell?
Here, give me my backpack, my man. Bro.
I guess. Put your stuff down.
Officer, you can't trespass somebody.
You're under arrest.
Here, record this on your phone.
That's serious, bro.
Wait. Can I hold your guys' property?
Yeah.
Got anything on you?
Oh my God.
Officer, why are you?
Just your phone.
Officer, where they trespass? This isn't gonna stick.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Officer, this is not gonna stick.
Wait, so what did we do wrong?
Breach of peace.
Officer,
Breach
this is
of
not
peace,
gonna
stalking,
stick.
trespassing.
Bro, this is the made I've seen in my life.
I think it is a little fucking crazy that these kids are being arrested, to be fair. Like, these are not dangers, just, like, this is incredible. And not in the good way. Like, this, I can almost understand why Jidion's going fucking mental in the background here, because obviously he feels partially responsible for these children getting arrested. And that must be, you know, he's got a guilty conscience about that, so I understand. And I don't think these kids should be getting arrested. I think that's insane. This is like because they're fucking children, dude. You say like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Give us the fucking property and go be on your way. You know what I mean? Like, this is unhinged.
I got you. They never even went on the property. How are you gonna trespass someone that never went on the property?
Yeah, I don't think they even went on the property. Jidion was like, oh no, wait, come back. So I don't think they even went in the this is crazy. How the fuck are these kids getting arrested before Jidion, who's behind the entire fucking thing?
This is a violation of rights. This is a violation. You cannot arrest somebody that never went inside and was never trespassed. Ma'am, they are arrested children that never went inside of a McDonald's. Call the DA and see how fast that gets dropped, you dumbasses.
It will. I hope it gets dropped. Honestly, yeah, I hope it gets dropped. I hope these kids don't suffer any actual legal consequences for this. It was dumb of them. They shouldn't, obviously, just because, like, they're a big, they like, idolize Jidion. They're a big fan of his. And that, you know, clouded their judgment, I suppose. It's not something they should have done. Obviously, like, it is a bit of an arsehole move, but they look like 14, dude. And Jidion is the one behind it all, who has, like, premeditated this whole thing. Him and Skeeter Jean. And he's the one making the fucking scene as well. Why have you arrested these children?
You see how fast that shit gets dropped.
These three?
Watch. Call the DA and see how fast that gets dropped.
He's yelling, so he's being disorderly. Yeah, everybody's looking.
Well, we gotta get charged with it.
This is absolutely.
What are you arrested for? Disorderly person. You're out here yelling.
Disorderly. You're under arrest for being disorderly.
Freedom of speech. You can yell on the sidewalk.
Sitting here causing a scene.
On the sidewalk.
Yep.
So you can't yell? Officer.
Anything I need to know about?
Officer, how fast do you think this is going to get dropped? Do you really think this charge is going to stick? Do you guys really think this is going to stick?
Sure, we have a
do you want to waste your DA's time? I am a multi-millionaire. I promise you, I can take this as far as you want.
Oh god, that's such a fucking cringe line, dude. For the record, I don't think these did stick. Like, he's up, he's making videos again, he's at home now. I don't know how long he actually spent in police custody. Definitely wasn't long, so I'd assume it wasn't long for the children either, which is good. I don't know if he faced any legal consequences or financial consequences. I think it might have just been a warning, like, can you fucking wind your goddamn neck in and then let him go? Which is, like, fine. I don't really think this warrants anything more than that, especially since it does look like he's learned his lesson somewhat. Again, though, I don't want to make any definitive claims there until I actually watch his response video, but I know he's quit streaming, so that's something positive at least. But, you know, he's a multi-millionaire, so I guess he can afford to quit streaming.
Officer, you will be in a deposition and you will be arrested. This is...
Here, back here.
No! Call Jake and have him get my lawyer. Call Jake and get my lawyer. Is this really the route you want to go, officer?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to waste taxpayer dollars?
Yep.
Officer, can I ask you a question?
No.
Can I please?
Sit.
Do you really want to abuse me, officer?
Get your foot in.
I can't even fit in here,
Get your foot in.
Officer, I can't even fit in here.
Get your foot in.
How are you going to arrest somebody that never even went on the property?
You're under arrest for being disorderly, not for being on the property. Put your foot
Officer, I can't.
Is the disorderly thing, is that like a real charge, or are they just arresting him because they're annoyed at him? Disorderly conduct is a crime in the US that disrupts the public peace. It involves actions like fighting, making loud noises after being asked to stop, or disrupting a meeting. States set their own laws, but this is usually a misdemeanor, a less serious crime. Okay, yep, fair enough. I mean, he was definitely making loud noises after being asked to stop multiple times, so I guess that does fit the definition of disorderly conduct. But yeah, again, a misdemeanor, a very unserious crime, for sure. But like, it's not as though this arrest is necessarily unjustified based on that definition, especially because he's getting, like, children involved in that. I think arresting the children is still unhinged, though. Like, let the kids go, dude.
You have to turn and scoot that way.
Have you guys consulted with the DA?
We don't have a DA.
You don't have a district attorney?
No.
You have a state attorney?
There's no district attorneys down here.
What about state attorney?
Go. Put your feet in. Let's go.
Officer, I'm telling you, I can't move.
Scoot that way. There you go.
Officer, I can't move. Bro, you pushing me is not going to do anything. Bro, officer, you're actually hurting me.
Come on.
Officer, I'm not. I can't move.
Yes, you can. Scoot
okay, can I step out and then slide in?
Yeah, step out and slide in.
Bro, hey, bro.
Set your butt in first.
I sat inside. Yo, call Jake and get my lawyer.
Hey, get him.
Officer, why you guys...
Slide your butt back. There you go. Anybody making the scene can slow down. We're secure.
But even after being placed under arrest, Jidion remains confident that the officers have only created bigger problems for themselves, as some of them try to make sense of the situation.
Breach of peace covers it all, so.
Where are your car keys at?
Right in my pocket, sir.
Pocket.
This is one here.
Who the fuck is that? Is that one of his crew, I guess? Is this one of the teenagers or one of, like, just his actual crew, if that makes sense?
Where's your car at?
It's the black one up there.
That Black Fusion?
Yes, sir.
We'll take Lions for a Black Fusion.
You towing it?
Yep.
So are they all trespassed from this property or what? I told them to leave or going to jail for breach of peace if they don't want to leave. So.
Looks like they're leaving.
I don't know who's all trespassed from here. I didn't catch all that from earlier. So. Hey, have you ever read our breach of peace ordinance? Yeah, it covers everything. I'm good with the breach of peace. It's stalking. I mean, we got a whole bunch. I mean, dude, they are stalking this dude. Like, there's got to be some kind of resolution to it. So we got 4? We got 4 right now. This is absurd, dude. Is he arresting him too?
Oh, get out and get off the property now.
Yes, sir. I was not a part of this.
Then you better walk away quickly.
Yes, sir. I was just in the car. I'll leave. Hey, Dad, do you mind? Actually, never mind. I'll walk on.
Now you're impeding traffic. Poundstown unit, can you light this black SUV up right here for us? Good, he's pulling up and stopping him for us.
Yeah, so to Skeeter Jean's credit, I think he realizes the severity of the situation and just leaves like an adult, because they are stalking this dude. Even though he's done bad things, doesn't make the bad things you're doing like any less bad legally, if that makes sense. Especially because I don't think this guy's faced any legal consequences for the financial abuse. I think it's just sort of an interpersonal family dynamic feud, like family drama, if that makes sense, which they've decided to bring online in front of millions of people and take like this sort of vicious approach to that ended up getting Jidion arrested and a bunch of teenagers too. Even Skeeter Jean, who's like the one in this guy's family, even he just sort of fucked up out the property, which was the right thing to do, obviously. They had taken this joke, this bit, a little bit too far.
We were just trying to pick our friend up.
Okay, well you can't stop in the middle of the road.
Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to impede traffic. I have my insurance on my phone.
Is it the same,
it's the same
policy?
Same policy. That's not correct.
Okay.
Hey, should I back up?
I'll be honest, it's kind of a gaggle mess going on in here right now, so...
I know what's going on.
Okay, well, he'll eventually move.
Do all 3 stalking and breach of peace.
We're dealing with this all day long. The guy's harassing somebody over there. It's been like an ongoing, like, years issue. They're like harassing this dude, stalking this dude. Then it kind of all compiled today. And now it's just turned into this. So, and then he decided to stop in the middle of the...
By the way, I should make it clear, if the Joe financial abuse thing, like towards his mum and his grandma, if that all is real and verified, like Skeeter Jean's saying, I don't feel sorry for Joe at all. I'm just saying that, you know, the law is the law, and it's not necessarily unsurprising that this is what the conclusion has ended up being. But it's not as though I have like any shred of sympathy for Joe himself if everything being said is true. It's just that they didn't go about it the right way at all. Okay, so I'm not going to play it all, but the police officers sort of go around interrogating everyone around in the situation. They describe Skeeter as like the ringleader behind it all. They talk to Joe himself, who describes Skeeter Jean as Skeeter, which is like weird that your family is calling you by your YouTube name. I couldn't imagine any of my parents or like uncles or anything calling me Dankyjabo, unless Skeeter really is that his real name? I don't know why I'm asking that. It fucking obviously isn't. No, it's Kenneth Chambers.
All of the arrested parties on their way to the station, the restaurant manager and Joe both provide written statements about the incident. But back inside the squad car, Jidion remains convinced that he has done nothing wrong.
Am I officially under arrest?
Yes, sir. I guess.
Okay.
You're for breach of peace is what it sounds like, all right?
Breach of peace.
Breach of peace.
Even though I was on a public easement. Okay. What is the officer's name that arrested me?
You'll get all that when we get back to the station.
Okay. I just want you guys to know that once this case gets dropped, I am going to get a constitutional rights lawyer, and I'm going to go after you guys' qualified immunity, and you guys will be in a deposition. You will have to answer for that, because the DA is not going to take this case. It's going to get dropped, and when it gets dismissed, I am going for your qualified immunity. And I'm guessing this is a misdemeanor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what crime is yelling on the sidewalk? What does that do?
We'll discuss when we get in, all right? I'm not going to try to have a conversation between this.
Okay. Between this
barrier.
Constitutional rights violated. I didn't know Woodhaven.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna act like I know the law by heart. Well, I just did one quick Google search. From what that described, it does seem as though there is legitimate cause here. But again, I'm not gonna say for sure. I'm not a fucking lawyer. I just did one search. I don't know if Jidion's actually going through with the whole deposition, like longing this out as long as possible, making them answer for all this shit. I would hope not. I would hope it's just sort of something that they've stopped and are leaving behind them on all parties, if that makes sense.
These charges are gonna stick. Do you genuinely think these charges are gonna stick?
Sir, we'll have a conversation back here, okay?
Listen, man. Here, you seem like a nice guy. Was that guy who was doing all that, was he your boss?
Yeah, I'm the junior person, sir.
Yeah. Just let him know, hey, man. I want his qualified immunity.
I am the junior person here.
I want his qualified immunity.
1363.
I know my constitutional rights. I know my rights.
Here, if you want to get back to your vehicle.
Officer, how can someone be trespassed that never even went inside? What sense does that make? So you unlawfully arrested those other people, and then with me, I'm on the sidewalk voicing my displeasure with this police department, and you guys, through retaliation, arrest me as well. Is there a body camera in here?
Yes, sir, it's on. It's recording right now.
Awesome. Man. All this to protect. Hey, you know when I get out, we're just going right back to the house. You know that, right?
That is like the dumbest fucking thing you possibly could have said here, man. You know how this turns out. You know what's gonna happen. You can't really get angry at people for wasting taxpayer dollars when you're deliberately going to sort of manufacture a situation like this again.
So you guys aren't accomplishing anything. You're wasting taxpayer dollars. I'd appreciate if you get my glasses. I can't see without my glasses.
Yeah, where are they?
They fell in there.
Yeah, I'll grab them.
It was not on my bingo card to file a civil rights lawsuit.
Oh, I get it.
Here we are.
I get it.
Yo, what's good, my man? Don't worry, I'll pay for your bond. It's not gonna sit.
You guys can just come up to this counter.
Get us with the best civil rights attorney.
Nope, right there's good for me. Stay right there for 1 second.
Ultimately, Jidion Adams was charged with misdemeanor, stalking, and breach of peace. The other 3 crew members were each charged with 1 count of breach of peace as well. A judge set Jidion's bond at $10,000, which he posted to secure his release. The other 3 crew members also posted personal bonds. While Jidion was in jail, his and Skeeter's fans made hundreds of calls to the Woodhaven Police Department and Downriver Dispatch. Some callers reported fictitious crimes, including a false homicide.
Yeah, he does have a habit of sort of posting the details of the places he goes to and the police departments that he interacts with, and sort of, I suppose, promotes his audience to call them incessantly, which I've always not known how I feel about that, because it will inevitably lead to shit like this happening, and an undeniable waste of, once again, taxpayer dollars.
Others flooded the Woodhaven Police Department's Facebook page with messages, and upon his release, Jidion launched a campaign called Free Jidion, claiming it would prove his innocence and what he believed was the bias officers had shown in favor of Joe. Skeeter, on the other hand, still wants Joe out of his grandmother's house. Jidion's pretrial hearing is scheduled for July 13, 2026, where his defense attorney will begin addressing the stalking and breach of peace charges. If convicted, he could face up to 93 days in jail for breaching the peace and up to 1 year in jail or a $1,000 fine for stalking.
I don't think that'll happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think that an arrest like that is justified. But hey, that trial is in 2 days as of recording. In fact, it'll come out. This video will be out probably the day that trial happens. So if you guys want an update, then I'll post about it. But yeah, I just don't think, I think this is a fucking situation where he's definitely come across horribly. And just because I've had, you know, very friendly interactions with him, nothing against him necessarily, it doesn't mean that I can sit here and lie and be like, oh no, he was completely justified in everything he's done here, and, you know, the police are, they're off their mark, man. It's like, no, this is, at the very least, a horrible look. It makes him look like super obnoxious and entitled, for sure. Like, sort of, generic multi-millionaire arsehole, if that makes sense. Like, it's not a good look. It's really bad. You can't fucking shout and chat to people like that and then get kids involved as well. It's bad, man. Again, though, I'm very confident that those kids will be fine. Like, again, to Jidion's credit, he's paid for all their bonds, which he should do, by the way. I think he's got a responsibility to do something like that, because it is his fault. You know, the kids have minds of their own and stuff, but I'm comfortable saying that it's Jidion's fault those kids got arrested. As much as I think, to be fair, I don't think those kids should have been arrested. I think that was very unproportional for the police officers to do. Again, I'm not here to, like, defend the police either. I think they were well within their rights to do some things, and then, but like, arresting the teenagers, like, come on, dude. Like, just come on. I don't know if that's like a controversial opinion, but like, I think it was fucking ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. Now, I should mention before I get to Jidion's response video, there was a little feud between Jidion and a YouTuber called Bloodspeth. Bloodspeth is someone I've covered on this channel. I actually had a debate with him over on Shepherd Boy as well. He's someone that I've given a lot of criticism to. I'm not a fan of his content at all, really. I think the way that he covers lolcows is immoral. I'm not I'm not a fan of it. He knows how I feel about him, but I gotta give him credit as well, especially because I've criticized him so much. I feel like it's only fair. I think his video on this Jidion situation was very good and very comprehensive and explains it all in a very, you know, mature and well-mannered way. It's called Jidion Went Way Too Far and Got Arrested. I did watch this. When I had my chat with him, I sort of, maybe naively, thought that he was acting a little buddy-buddy with Jidion and sort of siding with him a little bit more than or understanding when Jidion would make a point more so than me, like he was making more of an active effort with him because he's a much bigger YouTuber and it makes more sense to sort of rub shoulders with the big dogs, if that makes sense. Because one thing I found very frustrating is whenever I would say something, it was like impossible to get him to understand or acknowledge any of the points I was making. But when Jidion would say something, he very much was able to understand and sort of meet halfway with him. So I didn't expect him to make a video like this criticizing someone that I thought he was trying to be all buddy-buddy with, but I'll give him credit for it. I think it's a good video. Jidion responded to this video on live stream and it was a mess. Now, the live stream has since been deleted because Jidion has quit live streaming, and I think a part of that is he's deleted all the VODs as well. So if you're interested, I'd recommend, there are some commentary videos that have been made about it, so you can go watch those. But I figured I'd slip it in here and mention it just to give Bloodspeth, I think, the credit he deserves. So yeah. Now, let's talk about Jidion's actual video response titled I Quit, which I'm guessing is in reference to him quitting streaming.
Yo, what's good, y'all, man? So, this is genuinely gonna be my last video ever like this. I'm never gonna make a video like this again, but, you know, obviously you guys know what's all going on. You guys saw me getting arrested. You guys saw Cold Blue's video and everything. And, I did a reaction to it, kind of like, oh no, this wasn't right. This is how it happened, da-da-da. But genuinely, during the last few weeks, I've done a lot of just like inward reflection. And I've been talking to my fiance a lot. And I just kind of came to realize, you know, what I was doing wrong. And I also came to realize that truly your boy was spiraling, you know. I was genuinely losing the plot. And I have to say, like, genuinely, I feel like a hypocrite.
Okay, I don't know if this is, like, on topic or not, but I guarantee if I check the comments, it'll just be talking about how much he uses the word genuinely. I feel like half this fucking video has just been genuinely. And you know what? I get it. I feel like genuinely is a word that I overuse quite a bit as well. Something I've had to make, like, an active effort to stop doing, so I'm not even, like, hating on him for it. If anything, I kind of think it makes him seem a little more sincere, because I know when I'm really passionate about something, I will start overusing the words. I'm not even thinking properly about, oh, let me vary my vocabulary a little bit. I'm just being like me as possible. But that's like very psychoanalytic. I'm not gonna make that like a definitive statement at all. I just think it's funny how much he keeps using the fucking word. I don't think I've ever used it like 3 times in a row and quick, like genuinely feel this way, but fuck a doodle do, I guess.
Just a couple videos ago, I was saying how what Alex was doing was a distraction from the bigger mission, and then I come along doing what I was doing, and if anything, it was an even bigger distraction from the mission. You know what I mean?
I think that's a little bit unfair. I think what Alex Rosen was doing in reference to his like 10K pledge to Chud the Builder, saying that he was going to prioritize protecting Chud the Builder, who's like a racist streamer who was actively trying to provoke black people so that he could get shot at and then take them to court and shit. I think that is a far bigger distraction from pred catching than this sort of one-off live stream where you acted like a huge dick on camera. Like, what you did's bad, for sure. It was bad, and like you said, you were spiraling, and you deserve, you know, you should take accountability for that, but what Rosen was doing is way worse, in my opinion.
Figures for my lawyer fees, and then my fans' lawyer fees and everything, and that money could have been used for the betterment of society, but now it's being used in the legal system. You know what I mean? And it's just completely unnecessary, and it's completely my fault.
It shouldn't be an issue. You're a multi-millionaire, though. You can long it out as much as you want. Like, it shouldn't be an issue. 6 figures? No, that's nothing to a multi-millionaire.
I still do think that, you know, genuinely, I was just being not only just an ass, but annoying. And I've come to realize that, you know, genuinely, streaming makes me.
Oh, this genuinely shit is quite funny. But that's just I'll leave that to the lawyers to decide. But I think it's bigger than that. Like, even if he didn't commit an actual crime and he gets off with this scot-free, which, yeah, good for you. I hope that happens, right? I don't want this guy to go I don't want this guy to go to jail. But the biggest crime is like the moral one of just being a dickhead. Like, he was acting like a huge ass, and I don't think this is a horrible response so far, to be honest. Like, sure, he's not mentioned like the specific acts of which he thought he was being an ass in, or whether or not he thought Joe deserved this kind of treatment or anything. But I also feel as though he does genuinely see the error of his ways to an extent. But again, I've not seen the whole thing yet, so we'll let him keep talking.
Thinking back on it, every quote-unquote controversy, not even quote-unquote, every controversy and everything that I've ever got into, anytime I trended on Twitter for something negative, it's always been for some shaming clip, you know? Like, the first one that comes to mind is the Pokimane situation. Then the second one that comes to mind is, you know, the Logan Paul thing. And then besides all that, like, bro, I've been in countless beefs, and a majority, I would say probably like 85% of those beefs have come from streaming, you know? And I think what it is genuinely is, you know, I don't think it's a good thing to just look at a chat for hours on end and you're just like in real time getting opinions of people. And then, you know, I know probably some of my other streamers can attest to this. You know, you see somebody in the chat say boring or L stream or something like that. And then it flips a switch in you where you want to be more entertaining and you want to, you know, pump up the levels and everything.
I think it really depends on the person, because I know what he means here, but I've gotten quite good at fighting my chat when shit like that happens. I don't think I've ever adjusted my my opinions or said something that I don't genuinely believe because I'm scared of how my chat might react. If anything, quite the opposite. Causes quite a lot of tension in those streams a lot of the time too. But I don't know, I think I'm the type of personality where I quite enjoy that chaos, if that makes sense. It's definitely not the most, it is a little toxic, it is. But it's something that I think I've discovered about myself recently.
You want to entertain. And I think the reason why I gravitated so much to streaming is because I think I'm just like an instant gratification person. And there is no better instant gratification than you streaming. Because when you make a video, you don't get that instant gratification. You can know you made a fire video, kind of like my going to the most racist town in America video. Like, I know that was a fire video, but it took like a month plus to get it edited and perfect. And then when I posted it, you know, it didn't pop off at first. It was actually a 10 out of 10. And then over time, it grew and grew and grew, and it did what I thought it was going to do. But it wasn't instant gratification. Whereas when you stream, you know, you can have streams where right out the gate you have, you know, thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of people watching you then and there, and then people are clipping you like right away and stuff like that, and you get that instant gratification. But I'm realizing that's not good for me, you know what I mean?
You know what, I think it is different. I almost feel bad comparing myself to him at all, because I'm not at that level of fame where I get like clipped regularly. I don't think there's ever really been a clip of mine that has gone viral from a stream. Like, whenever I see clips of myself on TikTok, people send me shit, it's always from like an actual video like this one here. But stream clips for me, I don't get clipped like a lot of full-time streamers do. So I don't really, you know, I don't think I can understand this. Although I will say, if it were happening, I would not like that, because I'm probably at my worst when I stream as well. Luckily, I don't think my worst or worst side is like a horrific fucking person, but obviously you have a lot more half-baked ideas, you have a lot of thoughts you've not really thought out completely, you're looking at topics that you don't have as much information on, so saying something uneducated is a lot more likely as well. However, I also feel like there's a mutual understanding that you're sort of given a little bit more grace when you're on stream too. At least that's a kind of vibe that I get when I stream from my streaming experience so far. It's only been like 3 months, which, by the way, Shepherd Boy's growth in the last 3 months. Thank you guys. It's fucking amazing.
Saying is bad for everybody, because you got people like Queso and Jinxie and a bunch of other streamers who can stream and not, you know, causing controversies and just keep it entertaining. But, you know, genuinely, I'm not that guy, pal. I'm gonna be real. And so, like, I'm not on here, you know, apologizing or anything, because I don't owe you guys an apology. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't affect any of y'all. But I do want to say that I see where I was wrong 1,000%. And to the people I do owe an apology to, you know, I've given them to them, you know, to the boys, who got arrested. They're all 18 plus, by the way. I know a lot of people were saying that they were minors. They're all 18 plus, but still, you know.
Yeah, I'd say maybe it is a little parasocial to expect an apology directly from Jidion himself if you're like an audience member. I guess if you really want to stretch it out, you can be like, you are a hypocrite. You wasted taxpayer dollars, and I might potentially be affected by that in like some weird indirect way. Or my auntie really needed an ambulance in that exact area at that exact moment, and you made it harder for her to get it. But yeah, I understand why he's like under the mindset of not not needing to apologize to the audience directly. I'm not mad at that necessarily, and I hope he did apologize to everyone involved who deserved apologies.
And at the end of the day, I shouldn't have ever been there, you know. With my values as a Christian, I haven't been moving like that, man. And I've been falling back to my old self. And I've seen some of you guys in the comment section like calling it out, like, Jidion, you're going back to your old self, you know what I mean? Like dibbling, dabbling in pranks and stuff like that. And, you know, even though, you know, Joe wasn't doing a good thing by squatting at his mom's house and stuff like that, you know, at the end of the day, who am I to just, you know, troll and stuff? I have so many other better things I should be doing. Like that time and money I spent getting that stream set up could have been for a bunch of catches, you know what I mean? Getting bad people off the streets. And so what I'm here to just pretty much say is the shenanigans are stopping. The shenanigans are over. And genuinely, like, this was a very humbling experience that I really needed. And I genuinely think if this didn't happen, it just would have continued. You know what I mean? And who knows? It could have been something worse. It could have been something horrible that I could never come back from. You know what I mean?
That's a nice, healthy mindset to have. I've definitely thought the same way when I've gone through controversies. It's like, I'm glad this happened to an extent. I'm glad it happened now, and I've learned the lesson so it doesn't happen again later. Like, you know, I've learned the pretty valuable lesson of not responding to angry, hostile, banal DMs just because they personally make you a little bit annoyed very early on. Because if that happened when I was like a 1 million subscriber YouTuber, which maybe I'll get there at some point, it would have been a lot worse. However, I guess the issue is that like Jidion has had plenty of controversies on live stream before, and he never stopped live streaming. Like, he almost hasn't learned from them in a weird way. Obviously nothing like this necessarily, but maybe it's something to look out for. He's saying that he was sort of going into a recession of sorts, into that old sort of prankster self. Obviously there is still a fundamental part of his disposition or personality that enjoys being like an agent of chaos, if that makes sense, which is like fine and boyish and brash or whatever, but you need to focus that energy in on the on more productive things, if that makes sense, which I'm sure he knows, right?
That I put myself in a situation like this to where I can actually rebound and do better.
Yeah, I guess only time will actually tell if he learns from this. I hope he does. Of course, I hope he does. You know, with the platform he has and what I believe to be a relatively decent content character, I think there's a lot of good that he can do in the world, and it seems as though allegedly he wants to do a lot of good in the world. So if it's possible for him to do said good things, why would I ever hope that he doesn't, you know, do them?
You know what? You genuinely, to the Woodhaven Police Department, I see where you guys are coming from, you know? Like, bro, you're a small town, and you got this YouTuber having fans coming all over the place and stuff like that. You know, you guys have never probably had anything like that happen in your town before. And, you know, quiet towns like to stay quiet. And, you know, to Officer Mitchell, you know, I called you out of your name multiple times. You feel me? Like, if I was a cop, I would arrest somebody too if I was getting called out of my name like that. So, genuinely, I feel like there's a lot of blame to go around. And I feel like a lot of the blame has to be pointed right back at me. It has to be directed at me, and it rightfully so, man. You know, bro, I'm getting spammed up with.
I like that. I think that's a good, really well, mild-mannered and sort of well thought out and genuinely introspective thought there. And I think he vocalized it well. I think he's taken, you know, like the appropriate amount of accountability there. I'm not sure if this is to aid the court case or how much of it is genuine. I like to think it is genuine. When you especially when you sit back and look at those videos of how you were acting in the moment and other people talking about them, it does really make it a lot easier to be like, oh fuck, like I'm acting like this person who I've criticized before, or this person who I thought was fucking crazy, you know what I mean? And he says there's a lot of blame to go around, and a lot of it lands on him, which again does leave room for like, there's a little bit of, it's sort of being implied that, well, it's not all my fault, but to be fair, I kind of agree with him, because the police went a bit mad with the like teenager arrests. Those teens should not need to be getting lawyers and getting involved in the whole fucking court. They shouldn't be, that's unnecessary in my opinion.
You know, genuinely, like, bro, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Genuinely, it doesn't bother me like that, because it humbled me. It humbled me. The whole situation humbled me. And the reason why I titled the video what I titled it is because I'm never going to stream again. Genuinely, I love streaming, but it's just too much bad comes with it. And I don't know how to control myself. And so the best way to control myself is to distance myself. And so I just can't stream anymore. And I won't stream anymore because I actually want to be here for the betterment of society. And what I was doing during that stream wasn't for the betterment of society. Now,
yeah, again, this is all perfectly fair. I don't really have any issues with this part of the video either.
Resources are being wasted and judicial resources are being wasted. And bro, I've dropped 6+ figures on fighting this legally. You know what I mean? And it's just all just unnecessary garbage. And it was garbage content too. And the crazy thing is, from 2024 to now, I was making good content, getting actual bad people off the streets. And it's just crazy that I told myself that wasn't enough, And I think it's just, kind of just seeing all my friends, like seeing Canel do his thing with streaming, seeing Kai, seeing people I know like Speed and all of them doing their thing with streaming. And it's like, oh man, I'm like, I want to go back. And it's like, I'm tempting myself. And then I always just like go back into the streaming stuff when really I should have left that alone, because you guys remember the video where I said that I was done bothering society. And bro, look what I was doing. Just bothering society, being a nuisance.
Yeah, I think one criticism I definitely have is that you can't really, if you get cancelled for one small thing or you make one mistake, but you've got a huge backlog, like a huge catalog of you being a genuinely good person. Look at me using genuinely now, fuck me. Then it almost makes it seem as though, all right, look, he's done a shitty thing here, but like, it's obviously he's a good person. He didn't mean it like that. It was a moment of weakness. Let's just move on and allow it, right? He's apologized, no problem. With Jidion, you can't really do, like, he does have a large backlog of of honestly getting horrible people off of the streets. He's got a lot of convictions, a lot of predators who have been arrested, but because pred catching is such a almost morally ambiguous form of content to begin with, and there are so many shitty people involved, and there is always that question of how much of this comes from a genuine want to improve the world, and how much of it is content brain, it's a little difficult to point back to old pred catchers and go, look, this guy was 100% being a good, honest person, and we can trust that he usually doesn't care about content and wants the betterment of people, the betterment of society, the safety of children, if that makes sense. Because we just don't know that. We can't really say. Especially because he was collaborating with Alex Rosen, who we know is a huge piece of shit, and he's collaborating with people like Jidion, who absolutely has that content brain, in my opinion, at least to an extent. Not saying he doesn't care about the children at all, but to an extent, it's about content for him. And I'd be willing to say that to an extent, it's probably about content for Jidion as well, hence this entire drama. And I just hope he recognizes that, which, I mean, allegedly he seems to be, but only time will tell.
That wasn't nuisance, actually cleaning up the streets, getting predators off the streets. And instead of just sticking with that and doing that, I got distracted and I got greedy and I wanted to go back into doing, slop content. And, genuinely, I don't think if I went through the situation, I think I would have kept on making this slop content. And genuinely, I think if I would have kept on making this slop content, who knows, I could have affected somebody seriously, like where it would be irreparable and couldn't be fixed. So I quit streaming. I quit nuisance stuff. I quit all that. And I genuinely just want to do good for society.
What will be interesting is if he's doing a pred catch or a sting operation and he ends up going to a Chick-fil-A or something and the manager says, you need to leave the property. I would love to see how he reacts in a video filmed after the incident with Joe, because I think that'll be the moment where we really know whether or not this has changed him or affected him in a way that is positive. It might make a less exciting YouTube video, but if it's more efficient and less chaotic or less disorderly, then I think it's worth it.
I want to make society better, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I just came on here to say that. And one other thing I've also realized is, bro, I'm gonna be real, y'all. I don't know, man. It's like I got a temper on me. I really do. And people that watch my streams, you guys see it all the time where it's like I get triggered. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, the officers were just doing their jobs and I was just getting triggered. And I was acting like a Karen. I had a Karen moment. I feel like we're all due for a Karen moment, but, mine was on camera. And luckily, You know, I feel like we all go through moments like this in life. Not like mine, but we all go through moments like this in life where we're not our best self. But, you know, not everybody has their best self put on camera to millions of people.
I'm not a fan of this, to be like, it's not your best self, sure, but that is still, it's still you. Like, you can't really separate the character that was on camera that day from your real actual self. Obviously, the same way that me, Dankyjabo, is like a fictional character that only really exists on these YouTube videos, that is like, it's like a reflection of my actual real self, right? But ultimately, it's weird. Like it's like I'm not a real person. Because whenever the cameras are on and I'm filming a YouTube video, I am performing to an extent, even when it's not conscious. However, if I do something shitty, that is me, that is Jesse, that has done something fucking horrible. And I need to take accountability for that. I can't go, no, that was Dankyjabo, no, that was me when I was recording, that's not my real self, it's a fictional character, it was the worst version of myself. It's like, no, this is you, this is your personality, this is you losing your fucking rag. It doesn't matter what version of you said it or whether or not you're performing for the camera. When real people are involved and you're being a dickhead to real people, that's you. When you do horrible things in quick succession, when you're acting like a huge dick, you kind of have to battle with the possibility that you might just be a little bit of a dick, which is a very difficult battle to have, because obviously you don't want to believe that you might just be a little bit of a dick. It's like the same battle that you have to face when you realize that you're wrong about so many things. You have to acknowledge like, oh shit, I'm not just wrong about things, I'm actually uneducated, like just generally, like I'm not a smart person. But ultimately acknowledging that issue with yourself is the first step on the road of bettering yourself. Like acknowledging you're acting like a dick is the best way to stop acting like a dick. You have to sort of catch yourself in those moments, right?
Genuinely, I wish everybody could have that experience, because when you have that happen, it makes you do reflection. And so, you know what? Weirdly enough, bro, I want to go back to Woodhaven and I want to catch a pred there. I want to actually have a good relationship in that city. If you guys are still calling them or causing them any ruckus or anything, please stop. Do not do that on my behalf. Do not do that at all, man. You know, they're actually out there protecting and serving. And it's a quiet neighborhood, you know what I mean? And I made it not quiet, I'll be honest. And this isn't any PR damage or anything, because, you know, I'm gonna be real with you guys, genuinely, like, the situation didn't affect anything. You know, if I was clout demoning off of it, I would have just been like, oh yeah, like kind of like what I was doing before, you know, making jokes about it and stuff like that. But now I'm realizing that I don't want to do this. You know, I want to mature. I was maturing, then I let myself regress, and now I want to keep on maturing.
See, that definitely seems a little bit like, oh, I didn't need to make this video, but I'm such a good person that I'm doing it anyway. It's like, you sort of went demon mode on Bloodspeth and the people criticizing you. And then I do believe that because the response was overwhelmingly negative, this video, like if everyone was supporting him and being like, yeah, you did nothing wrong, I don't think this video exists. Maybe it took all the criticism for him to realize what he was doing was actually wrong. I'm not going to psychoanalyze too much here, but I do think there's at the very least a little bit of disingenuousness to that statement there.
And just because I want to move on from it doesn't mean you guys have to move on for it. I really don't care what you guys do, because like I was saying earlier, I realized I have a fragile ego, bro. I have a fragile ego where like I let comments and things people say affect me. And so I saw something that Scarlett Johansson said, and it's crazy. Like, she also said that she has a fragile ego. So the way she combats it is she just doesn't read comments about herself. And I realized, like, the last couple of days, I feel like the reason why I got to this point is because I haven't been reading comments.
It's not having a fragile ego, but that's called being normal, by the way. Like, getting that amount of negative comments would break most people. You kind of have to be a little bit, I've talked about this before, you kind of have to be a little sociopathic to be a YouTuber, especially one of Jidion's scale.
I've been looking at videos about me talking about the situation, and it's letting me come to a more clearer view, because I feel like if I was watching that content, you know, you guys see me react to other people talking about me, you know, I get all riled up and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, why am I triggering myself? You know, no one told me to react to these videos and stuff like that or anything, you know? And so, like, when I post this video, I'm not going to read comments or anything. This isn't for any damage control stuff. So you guys can say whatever you want in the comments. I'm not going to read it, because I'm going to be real, I can't handle it. But you know what I can handle? I can handle these preds, and I can handle making a difference in society. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing. And yeah, so I guess, you know what? I do want to say one thing. I do want to apologize for one thing, and that is I apologize for the distractions. I apologize for the slop content, and I apologize for pretty much forgetting about the mission. You know what I mean? This mission is so much more important than that slop content that I was posting. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. We're going to be back on the mission. We're going to be posting the prey catches, and we're going to be going forward and doing our thing with a higher velocity and with a higher ferocity. I think that's the word I was looking for. And so I appreciate you guys, man. If you guys have no idea what's going on with this, go check out Code Blue's video. You guys can see me getting arrested and stuff. That pretty much breaks down the whole thing. But we're on to better things. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm on to better things. I'm on to just doing pretty much the status quo, the usual, catching preys and posting it and then dipping off. And you guys are going to see, like, I'm going to make me, if you guys see me raging in a prey catch or whatever, it's probably an old one, but I'm going to be watching myself even while I'm dealing with police. Like, if a police officer isn't taking our evidence seriously, it's like, bro, being calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah, see, this right here, this is what I'd love to see. This sort of, the calmness and the demeanor of, like, the understanding and maturity when things aren't going your way for the content, if that makes sense. That is the change that I would love to see in Jidion's content, for sure. I'm excited to see it as well, because he's acknowledging it, he's saying it directly, so if it doesn't happen now, then you'll be held to it.
Is way better than having a screaming match and stuff like that. And, you know, the Bible says, be harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent, and I haven't been moving like that. But I've been yapping now. I really don't got anything else to say. That's all I got to say, man. So I appreciate you guys, and no more slop content, no more streams. So if you guys have been enjoying the streams, no more, man. It's just going to be straight prey content and nothing else, man. You guys don't need to know about my life. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't know anything about your guys' lives. You feel me?
I will say, that Bible quote, harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent or whatever, it's a nice sounding quote, but I'm a big fan of the meek will inherit the earth. Because there's a bit of a mistranslation. It means, like, those who have swords and know how to use them but keep them sheathed will inherit the earth. And I think that goes fucking hard, by the way. Because it basically means, like, don't be harmless. Have the ability to enact massive chaos, but don't ever use it. Because if you're genuinely harmless, then the harm that you refuse to engage in isn't like an attribute or some sort of moral virtue. It's because you are literally unable to do anything because you're a harmless little twat. But if you actually have the ability to cause chaos and, like, you know, be a bit of a fucking hard man or anything, but you actively choose not to, that's a lot more virtuous in my opinion. I think having a platform is a great example. Like, people with platforms will very regularly use that platform for horrible things like scamming or I don't know, like rug pulling or pump and dumps, I don't know, something like that, like scams basically. However, you can also use that power to do good things. I don't know, this sounds like very fucking elementary school right now. It's hot, it's so hot in here, so my mind's it's turning into mush. Let me finish this video as quickly as possible. Okay, yeah, I've watched the rest of the video now, there isn't really much to it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Jidion arrest, so now you guys can stop messaging me about it. Definitely not the best look, made him look like a massive arsehole, probably because he was being a massive arsehole, and there's a portion of his character that is just a massive arsehole, portion of his character that made him very famous to begin with, to be honest. However, he's saying that he'll improve and that the videos will get better and that this sort of thing won't happen again, so all I can really do is hope that that's true. So yeah, all the best. I mean, I know he won't watch this video, but all the best, mate. I hope you stick by your word and the content improves both quality-wise and morally-wise. For everyone else, though, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.